Alright, what's up guys, it's Abezy from Atlanta FaZe, and today I'm going to be going into the best settings on Black Ops 6. So start off on the graphics settings. Obviously display mode, you want to be on full screen exclusive. I know there's some players that play on full screen borderless. I'm more of an exclusive person because I feel like when you're on borderless, sometimes you get a little bit of input lag. And obviously make sure your refresh rate is on the highest it can possibly be for whatever monitor you have. That's like a big one because sometimes it'll reset, so make sure that's always at the highest. And then going down here, we'll talk about Nvidia Reflex low latency. So the way this works is like the way you can test it to see which one you should be playing on between on and on plus boost is if you turn on GPU time and CPU time in your interface settings, it'll tell you basically like a number, and whichever number is higher will tell you which setting you should be playing on. So if your GPU time is higher than your CPU time, then you should be on. And then if your CPU time is higher, then you should be on plus boost. And that's basically the main way to tell which setting you should be on. Now to go into custom frame rate limit, what I usually play on is unlimited. I feel like this is kind of preference. Most of the time, as long as you're getting around the frames that you get on your refresh rate, then that's a W. So if you want to cap it, you can, because usually after, the refresh rate, if you go over it, it's not going to really help you in any way. But for me, I usually plan on unlimited because especially in Black Ops 6, you don't really get high frames right now because I feel like it's not as optimized as it should be yet. And then we'll go into quality. Obviously, make sure you're on 100 for this, so you're at like max quality. This is a big one, the upscaling and sharpening. I feel like all the pros play on Fidelity Cast just because it looks the best. It makes the game look super sharp. That's like a big thing to play on. I know some people will play on Nvidia like DLSS, but the only issue with that is it's going to make your game look a lot worse. You might get way more frames with it, but it's like a trade-off. Like whatever, it depends really on what PC you have. If you have a good PC and you know you're going to get good frames and you can play on Fidelity Cast, it's going to make the game look 10 times better. If you have a bad PC and you know you're not going to get really as many frames you should, then you can play on Nvidia DLSS and you'll get a lot more frames. So it's kind of a trade-off, to be honest with you. I have heard that also this DLSS frame generation will give you more frames, but it also makes it to where you get a lot of input. I don't know if it's input delay or if it's like latency you get with it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people turn this on to get more frames, but I don't know if I think it might make your game like play a little bit worse. So then VRAM scale target, usually I think a lot of people play between 80 and 90 on this. I don't think it really matters as much. Going into texture resolution, obviously if your PC is not as good, play on very low. It's going to help your frames a lot in this game, and especially in this game because right now, like I said, the game's not as optimized. So if your PC is not getting many frames, play on very low. If you have a really like insane PC, then playing on low or normal wouldn't be bad either. It'll make your game look better, obviously, and you probably won't lose that many frames if your PC's good, so you can play on that. And then for all the rest of these settings, I'd say play on low or like off. And then water quality, I think on water quality, I usually play on water caustics. I think it's supposed to make the water look a little bit clearer, is what I heard, so usually that's what I play on for that. Everything else though, like I said, off or low. And then we'll go over to the view tab. This is really personal preference. FOV, I play on 100 right now. I think a lot of the pros play on 100 or around 100. Is usually between a range of like 95 to 105. No one really plays over that or under that because I feel like if you play over that, it's a little bit harder to see, especially in this game. The visibility is not as good. And then if you play under that, I feel like you can't see anything. You play under like 90, 95, you can't really see much. So I would say stick between 95 to 105 if you're competing. And then obviously play on affected as well. Independent is more of like a console thing. It zooms your screen in more, makes your FOV like really low. So if I personally, I'd say 99% of pros play on affected. And then obviously make your weapon field of view on wide. It's gonna make your screen zoom out a little bit. It's gonna make your weapon smaller, so it's gonna look a lot cleaner. And then going down here, third person, that doesn't really matter. Vehicle doesn't matter. Make sure your motion blur is off. That's a big one. If you don't have that off, your game is just gonna look super blurry. So make sure both of these are off, and also make sure the camera limits are on the least, which is like 50%. And then the flashbang thing is kind of preference, to be honest. You turn this on, it's gonna make your screen go black instead of white when you get flashed. And that's gonna do it for the graphic settings. So now let's get into the interface settings. There's a few settings in here that are gonna help you. Color customization. This is like whatever you prefer the enemies to be, you know, your teammates' colors to be, things like that. I usually leave these all on default because I'm just used to it. And then going down here, this one personally, I always play on filter 2. Filter 2 looks the best in my opinion. It adds a lot of color to the game. Also, you can, you know, play on world interface, but I usually play on both because, like I said, it makes your game just look a lot better. And then make sure these are turned all the way up or around like 80. If it's on 80, it still looks good. I think mine might be on 80 right now. You can put it up to like 80 or 100 depending on what you like better. But these are a game changer. They'll actually make your game look a lot better. So now we're gonna go into the audio tab. There's only a couple things in here that you guys really need to change or fix, you know. Master game volume, this is all preference, whatever you want it on. All this is also preference, whatever sounds better to you guys, you put it on. Obviously make sure your headset or whatever you're using for your headphones to be on this tab. Going down here, audio mix, this one is really personal preference. I think a lot of pros just use headphones, if I'm not mistaken. I know some of them like bass boost more. People sometimes say that bass boost might make the footsteps a little bit louder. I don't know how true that is. I feel like headphones for me has always worked like really well, so that's what I play on. Those you can just test out and see which one you like better. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for the best settings in Black Ops 6. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you have any questions or anything, and yeah, appreciate you guys.